Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. In the last episode, we made our way up to the battery. We were able to spy on a conversation between two ghosts, a conversation that happened many years ago, but unfortunately, the ghost kind of dissipated before we could hear the Camtech, so yeah, it does seem like we are gonna have to go down to Stalwart and awaken someone. That is... It's not exactly what Ximena wants to do, but it is seeming like it's something she'll have to do. I'm like, how do... Okay, there's a way out down here. You know, we don't have to stealth, we can just run. We've cleared the map at this stage. Now, I think the first person I want to go to is, what's-her-face? The old lady that was kind of off in a cabin on her own, because I'm not gonna lie, she's kind of been relatively pointless so far, so I'm thinking she probably has an old soul, otherwise what's the point of her being here? So yes, to Stalwart. And we can see if my hunch is correct. Oh, why, yeah. You know, that's another thought. Because you actually want to have a chat, okay.
Village was a touch livelier when I saw it last. Ain't saying much, though.
Her head swivels as she looks around. What do you remember about Stalwart? Maybe they saw you coming and went to hide. They're going through rough times. Just... What do you remember about Stalwart?
Bitter cold and a persistent odor of fish. And that were just the people.
Why did you want to come back anyway?
Anything's better than Galvino's workshop. You ain't heard the old buzzard sing.
She turns away again.
Anyway, what about you? We seen lots coming through, trying to crack the battery, but no watchers.
She looks back at you, her black eyes glittering. Stalwart needed my help. I've got my eye on the treasures in Durgan's battery. There's another group that passed through before me. I need to know what they were after. I want to discover the White Forge. I'd rather not discuss it. I mean... Technically speaking, none of these fit Ximena. She's here because she wants their help defending Cadnua. That is pretty much her sole purpose for being here. I want to get Stalwart on side. Stalwart wants me to go find the battery. So that's why I'm doing it. I don't want to go with number 5 because I think... I've said it before, Ximena is highly opinionated, and I do think she is the type of person who will always give her opinion, even when she probably shouldn't. I also don't particularly like number 1. Stalwart needed my help. Like, it's too goody-goody. It's too goody-goody. I think it's between 2 and 3. Because to be fair, Ximena is... She's like a magpie. She's like a magpie. There's something glittering and shiny, she's having it. At the same time, we know the Leaden Key passed through here. We're trying to track down the Leaden Key in the vague hopes that they can unawaken us. I think what would be more important to her right now, I could go either way. I really could go either way. I mean, right now, we're on our way to awaken someone. And I do think Ximena would feel guilty about that. I think that would be preying heavily on Ximena's mind. The idea of becoming like Meyerwald terrifies her. And I think that I've said this before. Ximena doesn't stick around for the devastation she causes. Ximena ruins lives. She really does. She ruins lives, but she doesn't stick around to see the after effects. It's one thing to bring someone to the poverty line. It's another thing entirely to drive them absolutely insane. I think Ximena, she can justify her actions as like, oh, well, they might not end up on the streets. They might not end up on the streets. And anyway, it was their own silly fault for trusting me. If they hadn't been so naive and gullible, I wouldn't have been able to take advantage. She is literally screwing with someone's soul. There is no naivety or gullibility there. It is literally, I have wandered into your life and I have cursed you to be a madman. I think that would be at the forefront of her mind, therefore letting Kate. There's another group that passed through before me. I need to know what they were after.
Ah, looking for someone. That's a familiar yarn.
She nods slowly, rocking her head on broad, steady shoulders.
But don't let me keep you from the sights and sounds of Stalwart. They're easy to miss.
She rests her hands on her hips and turns to look around. Yo, we're talking to you, so we might as well continue. I want to ask you about something else. The black marbles of her eyes scrape against their sockets as she looks at you. Ooh. Yeah, I want to know everything. Galvino said you murdered several people before he transferred you.
Effigy's eyes, that man loved to talk.
Her eyes roll in their sockets. Why did you kill those people? Did you really do it? Do you regret it? I mean... This could have been one big misunderstanding. She was just traveling from village to village. Maybe she was outrunning the killer. Like, oh shit, there's people in this village have been murdered. I need to move on. Oh shit, people in this village have also been murdered. And maybe people inadvertently assumed, oh, it's this woman, it's this one. But if that was the case, surely she would have been saying, I'm innocent. I'm innocent. When Galvino was talking of it, she was cracking jokes. I get the feeling she did do it. I get the feeling she did. Tell me why you killed those people.
If it's sane and logical reasoning you're wanting, you're gonna be disappointed. Ain't no sense in any of it.
Okay. I've heard parts of your stories from others. I'd rather hear the rest from you. Something drove you to kill those people. It obviously matters. I just want to know, if you're going to travel with me, I need to understand this. I want to know whether I should be worried. Maybe I believe there's something good in you. I mean, we've heard Galvino talk about it. I think Ximena likes to get her information from the horse's mouth. I've heard parts of your stories from... Let's try that again. I've heard parts of your story from others. I'd rather hear the rest from you. A soft hissing noise comes from the bronze golem. You recognize it as a sigh.
Mayhap you've heard of Cold Morn. Was a quiet, forgettable patch of the woods. Till a pack of rabid clodhoppers set it afire.
The fingers on one hand twitch and click against one another in a pair of sudden, spastic motions. What exactly happened to Cold Morn? You're upset. Have we heard of Cold Morn? It does ring a bell, but then again, they're, Cold, Morn. They're relatively common words. I could have just heard them individually and be drawing a connection there. But then, Ximena likes to perceive. I want to ask this. Ximena, she gets distracted by the things she sees. You're upset? A sudden burst of heat flares from her seams as her essence surges and boils.
A farmer on the other side of the mountains woke up one day with his head all aflame and took it for the gibbering speech of his god. And so did a few thousand of his countrymen. So when he tired of Vorlus fields and marched west, a horde of armed Hicks followed.
What do you mean?
St. Widwin and his blazing crusade celebrated his coup in Raid Ceres by invading the Deerwood. Most of his forces headed north to Helgot Citadel, but a lucky few thousand ventured through the mountains. Through cold Morn. We let him pass.
I do remember this. I do remember this. Why didn't you try and stop the Red Sirens? Because there was a horde of them. There was a horde of them. What are you gonna do? You betrayed your countrymen. Dear Woodens aren't the forgetful sort. You must have known that wouldn't end well. I guess you didn't have much... I mean... It's not betrayal to try and save yourself. I think Ximena would understand that completely. Like, hey, there was a whole horde of them coming through your village. It was either we stand aside or we die. And you chose to live. Like, I don't think Ximena would... I don't think she'd be upset or offended by that. Dear Woodens aren't the forgetful sort. You must have known that wouldn't end well.
Maybe not. But the Raid Sarens had us clean beat in numbers. Even bumpkins like us figured that. Just look at Mercy Vale. They fought back. And now there ain't one stone standing atop another in the whole village.
She sweeps one bronze palm across another, metal screeching.
Besides, we asked the Duke for help. Told him Widewind's troops was coming through the mountains. Seems he had better uses for his soldiers.
She crosses her arms over her plated chest.
So we let Widewind's soldiers pass. Left him for the Duke to wrangle on his own terms.
You hear a soft clank as she flicks her wrist. What happened then? Yeah. So-called Morn was purged in retaliation.
Was after the Godhammer made a fine grit out of Widewind, when Deerwoodens were running on rage and looking for something to burn.
You catch glimmers and glints at her seams as razor-thin wires pull tight within her body.
They came at dark. Hundreds of folk. Every one of them mourning someone lost in the war.
A dry chuckle ticks in her throat.
Must have decided it was our duty to escort their dead back to the wheel. They didn't light their torches till they had us surrounded. Time we saw them, there was a ring of fire closing around us.
She pauses and a mechanism in the back of her skull clicks dully.
I woke. Ran to the window. Whole village were a maze of flames. Couldn't see nothing for the smoke. And the screams.
Her thumb spasms to a strange, rhythmic beat.
Most ran for the streets. Got caught by the mob. Others hid, let their houses burn down around them.
What does that have to do with it? I presume she's going after the people who burned her village. She managed to see some faces and she said, right, if you think you can come and kill every single person I know, then I'm gonna hunt you down, bitch. I would assume that's where this is going. What does that have to do with your crimes? I'm so sorry, that's terrible. Someone should have made those thugs pay. You cowards deserve no better. What did you do to survive? I've heard enough for now. Oh. I'm drawn to this. Someone should have made those thugs pay, because it's, again, all the people of Cold Morn did was stand aside. Because if we stand up and fight, they're going to kill us. This is a horde of people marching to war, and we're farmers just living our lives. It's not like we're prepared for battle. We are just living our lives, and then, oh shit, here comes a veritable army. I think it's insane to expect them, oh no, you should fight and die. You should fight and die. All they did was prioritize living, not throwing their lives away. And the Dear Woodens have decided, right, you're to pay for all of this. Yeah, I'm drawn to number 3. Someone should have made those thugs pay.
That was my thinking, too.
Yep. What did you do to survive?
Ran, fought, hid, burned. Same as my neighbors and family. Just luckier.
I think Ximena would have put 2 and 2 together at this stage, but I guess maybe, again, she probably just wants to hear it from the horse's mouth. What does that have to do with your crimes?
You said yourself that someone needed to bring the hammer down on the scum that raised Cold Morn.
You couldn't have hoped to get them all, but you only killed people who attacked Cold Morn, right? That's pointless. And it's revenge. It's revenge. You killed my family, you killed my neighbours, you killed everyone I've ever known. I mean, in a case like that, you can understand someone going a bit mad. Everything they've ever known, everyone they've ever known, gone in an instant. All because they decided we don't want to die at the hands of an invading force. And now our countrymen are blaming us for that invading force. I think you could understand someone going a bit mad. You couldn't have hoped to get them all.
Well, we just gotta do our best with what time the gods give us, don't we?
She barks with jangling laughter. What exactly did you hope to accomplish? You're a monster! Passionate. I'm impressed. Cruel. That is another... Did you go after the people who attacked Cold Morn, or did you go after everyone? Like, oh, you've got a wife? Fuck your wife. But you only killed people who attacked Cold Morn, right?
Sure.
Her voice is flat and as expressionless as her face.
You want me to tell you straight? I found the men and women what destroyed my village, and I burned their houses down around them. Sometimes they was alone, and sometimes they wasn't.
She shrugs. Yeah, it's... People are now getting caught in the crossfire. Ximena is neither impressed, nor does she think that this lady is a monster. You went through something horrific, and I can understand why that might drive you a little mad. I think Ximena, she's just thinking of Meerwald, who, through no fault of his own, suffered and then was going crazy in a basement. This woman, she... Again, their only crime was deciding, we cannot fight this, we need to step aside. We can fight this and we can die, or we can step aside. Like, either way, this army is marching through. We're not going to accomplish anything here. There is no chance of us routing this army, of this group of farmers somehow defeating a prepared force. Yeah, I'm aware that the people marching with St. Widwin were farmers themselves, but they were preparing for war. They were prepared for war. They were marching as an invading force, whereas these were people who were just living their lives. There was no chance that they could stop this army. So it was either, do we die and the army marches through, or do we live and the army marches through? And then the dear ones decided, oh, if you had done something, then this wouldn't have happened. No, it would have happened. It would have happened just the same. Except there'd be a bigger death toll. Like, that's all there is to it. Like, you suffered something horrific, and you went a bit mad. I'm not impressed. I don't think you're a monster. It is what it is. It is what it is. What exactly did you hope to accomplish?
It were a mob that destroyed our village, but it was just one man that burned my family's house. Kept hoping I'd get to him as I was working my way through the rest of those maggots. No matter now, I suppose.
Ah. A sigh rattles out of her bronze skull, but her essence whips and twitches, as restless as a cat's tail. You and Galvino had an unusual relationship.
Only kind to have with someone like him. Or me.
She crosses her arms. You resent him.
No other way to feel about the man who flayed my living soul.
Metal squeals as she shifts her folded arms. How long have you two known each other?
Around about 13 years. Too long, you ask me.
He claimed he made you.
He'd spread butter on bread and claim he made something. Never been accused of modesty, that man.
Her eyes roll wildly.
He managed to stuff my soul into this heap of bronze, true enough. Maybe that makes him a genius. Also makes him a son of a bitch.
She drums her fingers along one scratched bicep. Did you ever consider murdering him?
Every day. Just kept putting it off. It's not like either of us was going anywhere.
What exactly did you do for him? She regards you for several seconds. She shrugs.
Looked after his tools, cleaned the workshop, swung the sledgehammer. Oh, and snatched up travelers for his soul tinkering.
What are you talking about? Yeah, those other golems, you mean?
But don't you worry. They were all bad folk.
Thank you for telling me. That's terrible. Fine by me. I mean, again, if you want to go after exclusively slavers, Ximena's not going to have an issue with that. But bandits, thieves, Ximena does not exactly approve. That's terrible. Oh, that's how I'm reading that. Would Ximena... I'm thinking, technically speaking, the Devil of Caroc, she was acting on Galvino's orders. I don't think she would have done that but for Galvino saying, hey, drag these people over to my murder basement. I don't think Ximena would have beef with the devil. I think she wouldn't like Galvino. But for Galvino giving that order, the Devil of Caroc wouldn't have done it. I don't think it sits right with her, the killing of bandits and thieves and cut purses. Killing of slaves, not slaves, slavers, fuck yes. But, like, everyone else, like, it doesn't sit right with her. But I don't think she'd be having a go at the devil for just doing what she was told. Thank you for telling me.
Just so you know, you got a real professional working for you.
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, I've had enough of him too.
She drops her arms, relaxing her posture. Why did you want to come with me?
Stalwart's great this time of year. Beareth spells in bloom for a good 5 days, and the mountain squall actually blows the fish stench away from town.
She turns away, clacking the fingers of one hand against her palm.
Better than staying at Galvino's, anyway.
Aloth arches an eyebrow and leans close. I've lived with secrets long enough to know when someone's hiding something. The black marbles of her eyes scrape against her sockets as she looks at you. I get the feeling you're not welcome in Stalwart.
I got a reputation. People in these little villages ain't the most open-minded.
Did you murder someone here?
Not yet.
Oh. Right, I'm supposed to believe that you came all the way to Stalwart 13 years ago for the scenery. You answered me pretty quickly, something you're not telling me. I'd rather discuss. No, I want to follow up on this. Right, I'm supposed to believe that you came all the way to Stalwart 13 years ago for the scenery.
Believe what you want. I killed a lot of folk, but none of them was in Stalwart.
You answered me pretty quickly. Something you're not telling me?
Plenty. But nothing you need to know.
She turns away. Fair play. I'd rather discuss another matter. What was your life like before the Saints' War?
There weren't much to say about it. By my reckoning, that means it was pretty good.
She nods thoughtfully.
Ma was a trapper, taught me to set snares and dress game. Dad was a tinker. I never had his patience, but it were fun to watch him work. My brothers and sister, they was good folk too. Part of me's glad they ain't here to see me now.
Her face is as blank as ever, but her essence ebbs and rides. She turns away. About Durgan's battery.
Just 'cause I'm made of metal don't mean I got any special fondness for smiths and forges.
She flicks the bronze of her forearm, producing a dissonant ring. Do you know anything about it?
No more than what Galvino already told you.
Any thoughts on which villagers I should check?
For fancy dwarven poetry? None of them ever struck me as especially literate. So whichever you can stand to get close to.
She shrugs with a rattling of metal.
And that's on you. I lost my sense of smell 13 years ago.
Do you remember any of the other expeditions that came to Galvino?
Nothing specific. Everyone looks about the same when they got their fingers up their noses.
She pauses thoughtfully. Then her head snaps forward in a tiny quick movement of realization.
Only the last group, one before you. There was something different about them.
3 of her fingers clench and spasm.
Couldn't put my finger on it, but they was dangerous. Almost felt the hair on the back of my neck.
She runs her hand along the smooth segmented bronze of her neck.
Ain't felt that way about anyone else walking through Galvino's door, that's for sure.
Never mind.
Murder, tracking, and the best materials for kindling. Those are more my area of expertise.
That's all. Okay. Okay. Yeah, keep an eye. Yeah, she denied... I'm thinking she denied killing anyone in Stalwart. That was her whole thing, like, I haven't killed anyone yet. I'm thinking you have a target here. And presumably you were stopped before anyone could get to you. I'm thinking, was this your house? Was this the house I'm thinking of? Hello?
Got to speak up? My hearing ain't what it was.
Yeah, Taina, okay. Ooh! What did I say? Why was she here? Why was she here otherwise? You feel her essence humming and buzzing. Another personality and set of memories lies dormant within her soul, convulsing as if in fitful sleep. The contours of that dormant soul are sharp, ragged. As you reach out for it, it seizes you violently. You're standing in a darkened feast hall. Sturdy tables and benches have been stacked against the door in the far end of the room. You know it won't be enough. A few dozen other dwarves from your tunneling crew wait with you, and shovels and pickaxes in their shaking hands.
Zenove, please. If we go now, we can get behind the barricade. We won't do any good here.
He's right, and you hear agreement in the quiet murmur of the others. But Arms Warden Maroon ordered you to hold your ground here. This was a name we've seen before. Yet, in those rising whispers, you hear the opening bars of mutiny. You've never tolerated insubordination from your crew, and you aren't about to start. So you heft your pickaxe and swing it into the man's skull. He collapses, and the others fall silent. The acrid odour of urine rises from his body.
We're gonna go down fighting. Anyone who feels differently can settle it with me right now.
Your voice is hoarse from hours of shouting orders, but no one else moves. They cast their eyes down in the flickering torchlight. Something thuds against the door. The others raise their weapons, picks and shovels and a few swords, but they don't dare flinch. Your own pulse pounds at your temples. Oh. You pull back from Taina's soul, but you feel Zenove's wrath and ferocity tugging at you still. Her essence thrashes, lashing out at an unseen enemy. Zenove is powerful but dangerous too. Her fury has anchored her to old and threatening memories. You consider that there may be others you could awaken. Taina, however, seems unaware of any of this, and she blinks back at you with cloudy, placid eyes. You got the look of someone with her teeth around a secret. Her cold fingers are locked around your arm. Her black eyes search yours.
My, but it's gotten warm in here.
He laughs awkwardly. Okay. We were told, be careful. Yeah. Taina, the old overseer of the mine, is the sole descendant of a hot-tempered woman named Zenove. As violent as Zenove's final memories were, awakening her could be a risky proposition. I don't want to cause unnecessary harm. Who else doesn't serve a purpose? And there's someone cleaning the there's someone cleaning the tavern. I want to check in on I want to see who Renengild and her kid are. Like, what's going on with their souls?
I take it you've met Galvino.
Renengild glances at the Devil of Caroc, her eyes narrowing. We will examine her soul. Your awareness settles beneath Renengild's skin. You feel yourself looking through her eyes upon a time-faded memory. You're standing in the inn. The room is stifling, but it's the body heat of so many furious villagers, not the neglected fire pit, that's drawn sweat from your pores. Your husband waits by the door, about as far as he can from the assembly. He holds Uldric, whose cheeks are bright as he watches the adults bicker with wide, fearful eyes. You'd never realised how badly your neighbours stank, but something rank and repulsive rises from them as they pack together in this room.
How much did the old snake pay you, Sina Hiod?
It's Grinda, the head fisherman, jabbing a furious finger towards the back of the room. Sina Hiod, your erstwhile mayor, squirms in a corner, pinned by the accusing stares of the entire village. Oh, those eyes. They're cruel, porcine eyes, and they're watching Sina Hiod with the dumb gluttony of hogs staring at fodder. The only sight that turns your stomach more is Sina Hiod himself, trying to wriggle free of his own lies.
Maestro Galvino and I came to an agreement. It was for the good of Stalwart. I thought...
You thought you'd let a killer walk among us?
A woman in the middle of the crowd waves her fist. Cries of fierce agreement rises from the others. What began as a collective grumbling is swelling and congealing like storm clouds. You look back at your husband. He's whispering to Uldric, but when you catch his eye, he directs a silent supplication to you.
Let's go.
A wet smack draws your attention back to the other end of the room. Someone's thrown a potato and Sina Hiod cringes and rubs his jaw. You want to shout at them all for this nonsense and waste, but you know this is about to get worse. Stalwart will have blood, and Galvino and his horror had the sense to flee already. This is relating to the devil. You turn again and your husband is beckoning you with swift, chopping motions. But what stops your breath is Uldric. His little eyes are fixed on the churning mob, and you knew ever since you started hearing about these hideous purges that he'd see something like this one day. But did it have to be so soon? It's what drove that devil woman to madness, and now his little eyes have gotten big enough to swallow the whole scene, and now he's seeing you as part of it. You want to leave now, but if you do, this is what your boy will remember. Cowardice and madness. About people, about Stalwart, about you. The people around you jostle and bark in their rage. They're dangerous animals, but animals nonetheless. They just need to be led. So you push your way to the end of the room, where Sina Hiod trembles in a puddle of his own piss.
Enough.
Your voice boils up from your throat. The others fall silent, watching you. They listen, dumbly trusting you, as you turn Sina Hiod's death sentence into an exile. No one contradicts you when you explain that he is going to march out of this village alone and into whatever miserable hamlet will have him. They silently agree when you explain that their hands are too clean for the likes of him. But there's something else forming behind their eyes, a kernel of trust and dependence. You feel it curdling around you, encasing you like a pearl does sand. You only wanted to spare Sina Hiod's life, not volunteer for his job, but you see so much fear simmering just beneath their expressions. Fear at godmen marching through the mountains, at dear woodens in their purges, at dying the slow and lonely death of a ghost town. And you see their grateful reassurance mirrored in Uldric's expression. Perhaps this place is hopeless, but you realise that you can't leave it any more than you could leave your boy. The only person who isn't looking at you is your husband. He's shaking his head, his eyes on the door. You retreat from Reningild's memory. Vividly though it is, it has nothing to do with Durgan's battery.
What's on your mind?
Farewell. Okay, and I want to see what's going on with your son as well, but that will have to wait until the next episode. So until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. A special thanks to my channel members, such as SM2K, Christopher K. Davies, CGG, and Kevin Bicknell. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.